bullies attend school, solely to pick on those they consider weak. Fuck you looking at fat boy. One of their frequent targets is a chubby boy named Jimmy Mulligan. Despite enduring Miles' constant bullying, Jimmy never fights back at school. Jimmy has two loyal friends, Andy and Bobby, both of whom are seen as losers at school. That guy is a fucking douchebag. Over time their endless taunts and the insults begin to wear Jimmy down. Jimmy's mother senses that something is wrong, but Jimmy refuses to tell her about his struggles. After school, is everything alright? Everything's fine, mom. His friends invite him to hang out and relax, but Jimmy declines. He knows there's a chance he might run into Miles, since they live in the same neighborhood. However, things don't go as planned. One day, while Jimmy and his friends are on their way to school, they unexpectedly encounter Miles and his gang. Miles and his crew demand $100 from Jimmy, assume that is clearly beyond his reach, given his humble background. Despite Jimmy's attempts to explain that he doesn't have that kind of money, Miles becomes increasingly aggressive, continuing to pressure Jimmy for the cash. $100, preventing me and my boy here from fucking you up. Just as things start to escalate, Miles notices Vinny watching them from a distance. Andy momentarily backs off. Vinny is known as a tough fighter, with many dangerous connections. He doesn't approve of Miles and his gang picking on others. Andy he always keeps a close eye on them. Due to Vinny's reputation, even the bullies are afraid of him. In addition to picking on Jimmy, Miles frequently bullies Bobby for his more feminine way of expressing himself. After Miles publicly humiliates Bobby in front of the entire class, Jimmy tries to comfort his friend. Remember what you said, man. They're just douchebags. I'm fed up with these shores. Andy deal with enough shit already. He then invites Andy and Bobby to join him for lunch in the cafeteria, promising to treat them when Andy and Bobby see Jimmy devouring large portions of food. They are shocked, however. They never tease him about his appetite. Later on, Andy and Bobby try to set Jimmy up with a girl named Adrian from their school. While having lunch together in the cafeteria, they often notice Adrian sneaking glances at Jimmy. Shortly after, Miles appears again, sitting beside Jimmy, Andy demanding the $100 Ray previously asked for one student. Irritated by Miles' deceptive presence, speaks up. Andy asks him to stop causing trouble. Andy leave the cafeteria. Why don't you just leave the kid alone? Miles responds by yelling, Andy harshly reprimanding the student, whom Ray sees as weak. However, another student, larger and stronger than Miles, decides to teach him a lesson for causing a scene. In an instant, Miles' bravado disappears and he hurriedly leaves the cafeteria after school. Miles confronts Jimmy once more, demanding the money. Jimmy stands his ground, insisting that he doesn't owe Miles anything. As such, he feels no more obligation to give him any cash. I don't owe you anything, you must wanna get fucked up. Don't you? Hearing Jimmy's defiance, Miles wastes no more time and he attacks him on the roadside. Just as Miles is about to finish the beating, an elderly man arrives threatening to call the police. Startled, Miles quickly flees the scene. The elderly man, who introduces himself as Mr. Action, takes Jimmy to his home to tend to his injuries. And in Mr. Action's house, Jimmy notices a picture of a boxer on the wall. And he is surprised to learn that Mr. Action was once a national boxing champion. Filled with determination, Jimmy begs Mr. Action to train him in boxing, so he can stand up to Miles, Andy and the bullying once and for all. Though willing to help, Mr. Action admits that he is too old to train Jimmy himself, but he promises to reach out to some friends to help with Jimmy's training. A little later, Mr. Action takes Jimmy home, where his parents are horrified to see their son. With a black eye, Mr. Action explains what happened. Andy brings up the idea of self-defense lessons. Initially skeptical, Jimmy's parents ask for some time to think it over. In the next scene, there is a knock on Mr. Action's door. When he opens it, he sees Jimmy with both eyes now bruised. So, what do you have in mind? Jimmy's parents, realizing the gravity of the situation, are grateful for Mr. Action's care. Andy immediately allowed Jimmy to start boxing training under Mr. Action's guidance. They even accompany Jimmy to Manny's boxing training center at gym and the boxing facility. ran by one of Mr. Action's friends. "I was hoping you could teach Jimmy here." To defend himself, Mr. Action briefly explains Jimmy's situation to Manny. He's just been hit in the head 2 times. Impressed by Jimmy's determination, Manny agrees to help, on the condition that Jimmy takes his training seriously, and he never gives up with the rigorous boxing training. Jimmy seizes the opportunity, and he begins regularly practicing with Manny, while Mr. Action closely monitors his progress. During each session in one of their conversations, Jimmy confides in Mr. Action about Miles' ongoing demand for the $100. In response, Mr. Action proposes a plan. Jimmy should increase Miles' demand to $200. But on one condition, he must be given a month to prepare. Mr. Action believes that in the span of 5 months, Jimmy can acquire the skills needed to defeat Miles, thereby avoiding having to hand over the $200. We need at least a month of hot wood starters. The next day when Miles returns for his money, Jimmy claims he has found a good after-school job, and he will be paid in a month.